How's it going, everybody? Texas Man here. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys really enjoy it. Subscribe if you guys have not already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all, hit the bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on our channel. Also, if you guys have subscribed, thank you guys so much for all of the love and support. And make sure to also head over to Twitch. Follow me there at Douglas447. I stream there at least once a week, whether it's Battlefield, Halo, Destiny, Call of Duty, or anything else you guys suggest for me to stream over there. And also, if you guys have any movies you guys want me to watch and review, please let me know in the comment section. Please just make it in the comment section. If you guys want a movie for me to review, put it in the comment section saying the name of the movie and please review this Texas Man. I don't know why, but I've been having 2 or 3 people in my comment section, I think, asking me to watch movies and review them. But I'm not sure because of the wording. And also these 2 or 3 people, they are spamming this exact same comment 3 times in a row. So if you guys could stop spamming the exact same comment, expecting some like rapid response, that would be greatly appreciated. Just comment once on the one topic. And your wording needs to be more concise. I'm not going to try to read between the lines and decipher your coding. Just tell me if there's a movie you guys want me to watch and review. Because if you are telling me you guys want me to watch and review these movies, I'm not going to because you're not telling me to. You're just putting comments in comment section and making a bunch of words and jargon. And that's fine and all, but don't get mad when I don't watch and review your movie that you asked me to do. So, as always, guys, we're going to be talking about positives and negatives. This is my full review and my thoughts of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Currently, at the time of recording this video, it is only on HBO Max. There is a big rumor that this movie will have a possible May or June release on Blu-ray, which would be really cool. Zack Snyder has stated that he wants people to have the ability to have it on disc so they can watch it physically and own it, and it generate a lot more money. And my cat is making noise. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. And as you guys can of course tell, I'm not in my normal setup. Normally I am in my room. Currently right now, I just finished dusting and pine sawing all of my desk and stuff, so I'm letting that settle. But I wanted, since I had a little extra time, to get this review out for you guys as soon as possible. So we're talking about positives and negatives, and if you guys haven't seen the movie for whatever reason, I mean, this movie's been out for 2 or 3 weeks by the time I get this video released to you guys. So if you guys were worried about spoilers, if you really cared about this movie, you would have seen it within the first week or so. So just keep that in mind. And so, spoiler warning, I'm going to talk about spoilers throughout this entire review, and I will give you guys my final score at the very end. I am planning on watching and reviewing Godzilla vs. Kong, so look forward to that review coming out very soon. And yeah, so we're just going to jump right in. I ended up taking a bunch of notes, and I'll be honest with you guys, this was a really hard thing for me to have to sit through. This movie is 4 hours long, 4 hours and 2 minutes or whatever. And it is double the length of the Joss Whedon version that we got in 2017, which is okay. For those of you guys who do not keep up with major events and news of movie knowledge and the movie industry, basically what ended up happening is we were supposed to get this Justice League, this 4-hour version, in theaters in 2017. Unfortunately, Joss Whedon's daughter, Autumn, I believe, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong, his daughter ended up committing suicide. So he ended up stepping away from the project, and Warner Brothers gave the reins over to Joss Whedon, which is famous for the Avengers movie. And basically what ended up happening is Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon decided to change a lot of what Zack Snyder wanted for the Justice League movie. Zack Snyder wanted to make the Justice League into like a trilogy or even having 4 movies, and Joss Whedon is like, no, we're just going to make one movie, 2 hours long, And basically what ended up happening is turn the Justice League into a slightly darker version of the Avengers, which isn't what the Justice League is supposed to be. The Justice League is its own thing. It has its own tones, its own feels. And, of course, when the 2017 Justice League released, most people didn't like it. There's things in it that I really do enjoy over this version, but unfortunately, this version, the Zack Snyder version, is definitely 1,000 miles better than the Joss Whedon version. And we're going to get into exactly why throughout this video. So, there you go. And of course, all the thumbnails and hashtags made it where Zack Snyder got to release his 4-hour version. There is talks that HBO is going to allow Zack Snyder to finish his vision because, spoilers, here we go, this movie doesn't have an ending. This movie has a big cliffhanger for sequels, and there's talks that Zack Snyder will do a Justice League 2 and a Justice League 3, which I really want because of all the big cliffhangers and all the story threads that are left open that are not resolved currently. None of them get resolved in Aquaman, none of them get resolved in Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. Hate that movie. None of them are getting resolved in Shazam, none of them get resolved in Wonder Woman 1984, and I severely doubt any of the plot threads are going to get resolved in the Batman or the Suicide Squad being done by James Gunn. So there's tons of plot threads involving Batman, Darkseid, the Martian Manhunter, Lex Luthor, just so many people. Deathstroke, Joker, Harley Quinn. We haven't even seen Robin yet in this version of the DC movies, so I'm like, there are so many characters and plot threads that are left open, and I hope that we do get a Justice League 2 and a Justice League 3. That way these plot threads can wrap up and we can have a nice concrete story. And it would be cool if Justice League 2 and 3 were also like 34 hours long. I don't think they need to be 4 hours, maybe 3 hours, because this movie had to unfortunately do a lot of setup and world building of a lot of the DC universe, which is a major problem because this movie has to introduce the Flash and give backstory to him. It has to introduce Cyborg, give backstory to him. It has to introduce Aquaman and give backstory to him. I mean, we basically, at this point in time, we know who Wonder Woman is with her solo movies. We know who Batman is from forever. We know who Superman is forever. But they introduced these 3 other characters, and they haven't had their own solo movies yet. Before this movie, they decided to do the solo movies afterwards, which is backwards, which is why the Marvel Cinematic Universe works perfectly, is they did a bunch of solo superhero movies, and then they put them together to do the Avengers. DC, for whatever reason, is doing everything backwards, and it hasn't turned out so well. So, there you go. There's the prologue to the review, almost 8.5 minutes long, but it was necessary. So, first of all, there is some reused footage in this movie from the 2017 into the 2021 Zack Snyder version. So if you've seen the 2017 movie and you go in watching this movie, there's certain scenes that are similar, but in general, over half of this movie is never seen footage. Nearly over half of this movie, I'd say about 80% of this movie, you've never seen before. It's not in the 2017 version. A lot of Zack Snyder's vision got cut from the 2017 version. So if you go into watching this 2021 version, it's going to be a completely different experience. You're going to see a bunch of new awesome things, and it is going to be fresh. You're not going to know exactly what's going to happen. The outcome and the endings are similar, but the Zack Snyder version actually has a punch. It has a reason for actually having a ending. And then there is plot threads and other stuff that's added on at the very end after the big climactic battle has concluded to lead into Justice League 2 or Injustice. I'm really happy that we, the fans, got this movie to be made. If it wasn't for the fandom around this project becoming a reality, I don't think it ever was. And interesting, this took over $700 billion extra dollars to finish. Warner Brothers didn't have any intention of actually finishing this project. HBO decided to help Zack Snyder finish his vision, and they did. And I think it's really great. This movie has a lot of better action. There's more complex storylines going on. A lot more visuals that are just groundbreaking, beautiful visuals, both for the real visuals that are on screen and the CGI. The CGI is just a masterpiece. It's 10 out of 10. The soundtrack, which I'm going to have to hit on later on in the review, the soundtrack I thought was good, but then there was a point where I was just like, I got sick to death of hearing the Wonder Woman theme song in this version of the movie. It's like every single time an Amazonian or Wonder Woman showed up on screen, they played the exact same theme song every single time, and it drove me insane. Characters actually have development in this movie. Like, I mean, it's 4 hours long, so there's time for characters to grow and expand. There is an abundance of slow-mo scenes. I mean, it's Zack Snyder. If you've seen 300 or anything else Zack Snyder's done, you know that slow-mo is his thing, and he loves doing it. Because of that, though, I feel like this movie could have been cut down to 3.5 hours instead of being 4 hours long. There's certain moments that just drag on forever, and I think if there was there's certain scenes that could have been cut out, it would have made the movie felt a lot better, but I don't complain too much about it. Also, like I said, this movie's 4 hours long. There comes a point where I had to take a break. I took a break halfway through around the 2-hour mark, and I felt like when I hit the 2-hour mark, the movie should have ended. This film feels like 2 movies smashed together, and it also feels like 7 episodes of TV put together at the same time. Like, when you're watching the movie is literally divided up into 7 parts. There's parts 1 through 6, and then there's a finale episode or part that will lead into a sequel that I hope we get. So do keep that in mind. Like I said, this movie is divided up into parts. It literally says part 1, and then gives like a subtitle, like you're watching a book unfold on screen, which is pretty cool. So each part's like 45 minutes long. So if you wanted, you could watch this movie in chunks and take breaks and whatnot, and you wouldn't have to literally have to find a good spot to pause. This movie literally pauses the movie for you, so you can take a break to go to the bathroom, refresh on your concessions, things like that. This movie really does a great job also paying proper respect to Superman. There is a scene in the movie after Superman gets resurrected where he goes back onto his ship, and it's playing dialogue from the Man of Steel movie from 2013, and I really enjoyed that scene. It was really well done, really well executed. Also, there is a Easter egg if you pay attention closely when you watch the movie. If you pay attention, there is a Supergirl Easter egg in this movie, which I really enjoyed. We get a lot more character-focused storylines in this movie. Yes, the invasion with Steppenwolf and him trying to make the Unity and the Mother Boxes and Darkseid and resurrecting Superman and trying to recruit everybody to form the Justice League, that's all in here. The war, the invasion, all that stuff is secondary. Yes, it is an important part and an important aspect of this movie, but the characters in this movie is what is the most important thing. The literal Justice League is what makes this movie work. It's what you came to see, and it's what you're going to get. You get to have a character piece movie, which I'm really happy for. I am so sick to death of Hollywood releasing movies that are all about action, all about their CGI, all about their religious views, their political views, all that nonsense. I'm fine if it's in the movie for a little bit, but I'm watching a movie because I want to get invested in these characters. And I'm invested with The Flash. I'm invested with Cyborg, Aquaman, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Hopefully Green Lantern will actually show up if we get a sequel. Because it's supposed to be 7 members of the Justice League that start off, not 6. Where's Green Lantern? Moving on. Like I said, I took a lot of notes. Cyborg in this movie is actually fleshed out. He is 100% fleshed out, and he finally has a purpose, a meaning in this movie. He actually has a lot in this movie that he does. He's actually a major part of the plot. If you ripped Cyborg out of this movie, not only would it remove basically an hour and a half of film length, but it wouldn't make sense. Without Cyborg, this movie would not happen. You need Cyborg for the Mother Box storyline, Unity, and a lot of other things that happen, especially like the resurrection of Superman. Basically, he's the one that suggests it and spells out how they should accomplish it. Flash in this movie, he's also fleshed out and he has a lot more character growth. So Cyborg and Flash, they really felt underwhelming in the Joss Whedon 2017 version. In this one, they actually get a lot more screen time and a lot more to do, and I'm happy about that. Speaking of Joss Whedon, there's no Joss Whedon Avenger jokes in this movie. There's no bad, humorous jokes. There are jokes that are in this movie, but they can be a little dark, and if you're not paying attention to them, like Joker in this, for example, he says towards the end of the movie, "I'm gonna rope you, Batman," and I'm like, okay, interesting. A lot of the illogical parts of the 2017 version, 9 out of 10 of them are gone. This movie makes logical sense. There's a reason for what's happening, and you actually, like I said, care and are invested. Wonder Woman in this movie, she is 1,000 miles better than the version that we got in 1984. If you've watched the Wonder Woman 1984 movie and you go and watch this, they're completely different characters. Like, Wonder Woman literally kills terrorists in front of teenagers in London. She chops off Steppenwolf's head with her sword. She is kick-ass, don't piss her off, she'll kill you type of person. And I'm really happy about that. The team chemistry I thought in this movie was really good. There are certain moments where I felt like, okay, these are just people doing good things because they don't want the world to end. And at the end of the movie, they actually work together and they kind of like do Mortal Kombat things where they're like using team combos. I felt like I was watching a video game scene at times, which is okay. Don't get me wrong, I'm not mad about that, but I thought it was really cool and interesting. Like, they're using their powers in synchronization to take on all these parademons and Steppenwolf and whatnot. I really enjoyed that aspect. Like I said, the soundtrack was really good. I enjoyed a lot of throwbacks from past DC movies. Like I said, I love the tease that we got with possible Justice League 2 and 3, possibly an Injustice storyline. Now we're going to talk about the villain of this movie, or the lack thereof. Steppenwolf in this movie is good, but I didn't care about him in the 2017 version, and in this movie, I didn't care about him really either. I cared about him a little bit, but not too much. I want to watch a Justice League movie where they're fighting Darkseid. Okay, let's talk about the fact that Darkseid is in this movie, and we get to see Darkseid 5,000 years in the past fight, Zeus and the Atlanteans and the Amazonians and Ares and a Green Lantern that I guess is in control of the sector or whatever. We don't even get to see our Green Lantern. It's just a random Green Lantern person. And the fight's too short. We never get to see Darkseid in this movie fight the Justice League. Never. There's a big tease story thread that because the Justice League stops the portal from being completed, Darkseid and his army can't walk through, so Darkseid's like, we'll just use the old means. So I'm guessing he's going to use his spaceship fleet and come to Earth, however long that's going to take, and invade that way like it did 5,000 years ago. But we never get to see Darkseid do anything in this movie. He kills Green Lantern. He gets shot a couple times in the chest. Ares takes his axe and puts it right next to his shoulder, and he gets carried away by parademons, put on a ship, and bye! And he doesn't do anything else except sit in a chair. I'm sorry, but DC, really? Darkseid is not supposed to be Thanos. Jeez. I don't get this. I really don't get it. I enjoyed the redesign of Steppenwolf. I thought it was really, really cool. The armor design and what it could do. Like, if he was getting shot by Amazonian arrows and they got stuck in his armor, he could, like, rearrange his armor and they would snap off, which I thought was pretty cool. Jared Leto's Joker in the movie, I thought was a really great addition. I really enjoyed his performance. I know a lot of people hated him as being cast for the Joker. Jared Leto's Joker is okay. It's not like I hate his performance, but I thought it was pretty cool. And the giggle that Jared Leto's Joker does in this movie, I thought was pretty cool. It made me smile. It was unique. It was enough Joker for me. And the fact that we got to see Joker and Batman have some dialogue finally in this DC universe, live action, I thought was really cool. I enjoyed it. You can disagree with me all you want to, but I enjoyed it. We also got a lot more focus on the death of Superman from Batman vs. Superman's finale. So if you haven't seen, like I said, Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, make sure you go watch those two movies before you watch this. If you haven't seen Man of Steel or Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, you will not understand what is going on in this movie whatsoever, especially at the beginning, because this movie opens up with the fact that Doomsday gets killed by Superman, but Superman also sacrifices himself and gets killed by Doomsday. That is a crucial, important part of these films, is that Superman died and the impact it has on the world. And so that ending from Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition, yes, I'm saying Ultimate Edition, it's the only edition that should exist, it is a very crucial and important part of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I felt like it was very breezed over in the 2017 version. This movie literally starts off with Superman's death by Doomsday, and it's like, yeah, this is important. It's going to play a very pivotal role throughout this entire film, and it does. And I'm happy that it acknowledged that. Also, I'm slightly confused at the very end with Steppenwolf. Like, who killed Steppenwolf? We literally get Superman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman doing these, like, finishing moves on Steppenwolf. Like, literally, Superman is punching him to death. He's laser beaming him. He literally laser beams one of his horns off. Aquaman literally takes his trident and stabs Steppenwolf in the back of the chest. And then Wonder Woman takes his head off. I'm like, who killed Steppenwolf? I am beyond confused. Was it Darkseid? Because Darkseid literally smashes Steppenwolf's head and just crushes it. I'm just like, who killed the villain in this movie? I'm confused. So, also, last thing about Steppenwolf, I believe. Yep. Last thing about Steppenwolf, we actually get a backstory of sorts with him. And there's a reasoning for him having to work for Darkseid. And I don't want to go into spoilers too much. I want you guys to actually watch the movie if you guys haven't. But the reasoning for Steppenwolf serving Darkseid, I thought, actually had a really good purpose, a really good reason, and it makes a lot more sense as to why he's doing this, even though he really doesn't want to. Enough said about that. Watch the movie if you haven't. I don't want to talk anymore about spoilers. We get to see Ares in this movie, 5,000 years in the past, of course. But we get to see Ares, which is the villain from the first Wonder Woman movie, along with, like I said, Zeus and Darkseid. Like I said, it was an epic scene, but I thought it was really too short. The introduction for the Flash in this movie, I thought was cringe. I didn't like it. I did not like it. That is one thing about the 2017 version that I thought was better. The Flash going to try to get a job in Central City to walk dogs. Walk dogs. It was stupid. And then he saves this love interest that he has from being killed in a car accident. And it has a hot dog wiener joke. Like, it was stupid. He My mom was like, really? They had to make a wiener joke in this movie? I'm like, yep. They had to do a wiener joke. There's a lot more emotional connections with characters in this movie. Like I said, also at the beginning of this film, we get Martian Manhunter. And I'll be honest, he was weird in this movie. Because, if you guys don't know who Martian Manhunter is, he's a shapeshifter. So he ends up shapeshifting into Martha! Save Martha! I can't help it, okay? Batman v Superman did that. But Martha, we get to find out, can be shapeshifted to look like by the Green Martian. So the Green Martian can look like Martha, and it also looks like this colonel or general that we've had for Man of Steel. So apparently the Green Martian's been around for like 7-8 years, just chillaxing and letting the world fall apart while he's not helping Superman, he's not helping Batman, he hasn't been helping Wonder Woman at all. He's just been chilling with the United States military and not doing anything except issuing orders when you are a literal Green Martian and you could kick some serious booty. Also, the design for Martian Manhunter I did not like. Yes, I know that I'm probably biased in the fact that I think the design for Martian Manhunter in the Supergirl show is much better. But this version, I just thought the CGI work for him was weird. It didn't look right. And if that's not CGI, then that's a really bad costume. Either way, I didn't like it. Like I said earlier, we don't get a Green Lantern in this movie. We get a Green Lantern for a flashback scene fighting Darkseid, but it's not even the Green Lantern that we're used to, and we don't get to have any notion that we're going to get a Darkseid anytime in the future. Like, for those of you guys who are uninitiated with the Justice League, it's seven members. In this movie, we get 6. We don't get a Green Lantern. Nothing. They don't mention him. Absolutely nothing. No teases, nothing. I'm like, where is Green Lantern? Like, mention that he could be coming in a sequel. Something. Because Green Lantern is important. We get a tease of Superman's son. So if you pay attention close enough, you'll see that Lois Lane is taking a pregnancy test, or has, or will, one of those two. So we might get to see Superman's son in the future. I also love the fact that we finally got to see the Flash go so fast that he goes faster than the speed of light, and he ends up eventually going so fast that he unlocks time travel to save the world. So the fact that Flash finally figured out how to do time travel, I thought was really cool. I hated the scene where the Flash ends up getting shot by a parademon when he's going so fast. I'm just like, no, that was wrong. That was wrong on so many levels. We get a Legion of Doom tease at the end of the movie with Deathstroke and Lex Luthor. Basically, what ends up happening is Lex Luthor does break out of Arkham Asylum. We don't know exactly how. They don't show it, which really pissed me off. Like, I wanted to see some sort of breakout with Arkham Asylum. I mean, I'm an Arkham Asylum fan. I love the games. Like, he just escapes. Like, okay, to me, that was lazy writing. Like, don't show and explain how or who. It just breaks out. Lex Luthor also, for whatever reason, knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he ends up telling Deathstroke, which I thought was pretty cool. We get references to Red Robin. I got food on the brain. We get references to Robin and Harley Quinn. And we also have to talk about that Wonder Woman theme song. I'm sorry, but I know I've already said this earlier in this review, but the Wonder Woman theme song in this movie irritated my soul. It's on a constant loop. Like, anytime an Amazonian is on screen, or Wonder Woman especially, it's ding 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 ding. I'm just like, I'm so sick. Like, they play that exact same theme song in this movie. I gotta say, I think I lost track, but I think they play it at least 8 times. 8! Minimum 8! That is one thing I want to do, is when I go to rewatch this movie, It's like I'm going to literally write a tally as to how many times this movie plays that annoying theme song in this film. Because it got to a point where I was like, okay, the moment Wonder Woman shows up, I was like, okay, here comes the annoying theme song. And I was looking at my friends and family that were watching it with me, and we're like, are they just lazy? Did they not have the ability to come up with something else when Wonder Woman shows up on screen? And I'm like, clearly that wasn't in the budget. I will say, guys, I would say go into this movie with lower expectations than you probably have. I went in this movie thinking, okay, it's gotta be better than the 2017 version, and it is. I haven't reviewed the 2017 version here on the channel, so if you guys are wondering, I have to give that movie a 3 out of 10. The 2017 version gets a 3 out of 10. This version, I thought was good, but like I said, I enjoyed it, but I have problems with it. There's pacing issue. I don't like the slow-mo. The Wonder Woman theme song probably is the one thing that drove me insane. We don't get to see the Justice League fight Darkseid. And I get this is the first movie in a planned, thought-out trilogy or a series of 4 movies. But this is not a perfect masterpiece. Do keep that in mind that if you get HBO Max, or if you have a chance to get it on Blu-ray, if it does come out on Blu-ray in the future, make sure you go into realizing this is not a masterpiece. This is not a 9 out of 10. This is not a 10 out of 10. This movie has flaws. Now, you can easily watch this movie and ignore them all. You can do that. And that's why I think a lot of people have been giving this movie 8, 9, and 10, is because they aren't looking for all these little nitpicks that I have. This movie, you need to go into watching with lower expectations. I mean, when I went to watch this movie, I already knew that Martian Manhunter was going to be in it. I already knew Joker was going to be in it. Unfortunately, because I am a YouTube creator and I watch other people's YouTube videos and whatnot, stuff gets spoiled for me, unfortunately. So, and that was okay because I didn't care. I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch the movie anyway. I'm watching the movie not for entertainment value's sake, but to critique it and watch it. I do plan on rewatching the movie with my critic lenses off, and just trying to watch the movie and enjoy it and see if me not watching it as a critic would make me happier. I'm not disappointed in this movie. Let me stress that. I'm not disappointed. I'm not unhappy. But this movie has issues. It has flaws. And if you are going to watch this movie and be a critic throughout the whole thing and not just sit down and enjoy watching it, you're going to have a fun time nitpicking it. But I encourage you to watch it first just to enjoy. So that is going to do it for me, guys. I honestly only got HBO Max so I could watch this movie. I am going to keep it though so I can watch Godzilla vs. King Kong when it drops. And I will have a review out for that very soon, so look forward to that. And with that, guys, I'm going to give Zack Snyder's Justice League a 7.5 out of 10. I am sure the comment section is going to explode, and you guys are going to hate me for giving it such a low score. But 7.5 out of 10 I think is reasonable. I wanted to give this movie an 8, but there's just certain things in the movie, and I'm sure I'm not covering everything in this review. I mean, this review is almost 35 minutes long. I'm sure there are things in this review that I am missing, and if they are, I'm sorry. But I don't think this movie deserves the 9s and 10s that this film has been getting from other critics. I strongly think it deserves around a 7 to 8 mark. It's not a bad movie. It's definitely above average. Like I said, it is definitely miles better than the 2017 version, and that's why I have to give it a 7.5. Now, Would this score that I'm giving it right now increase if I wasn't critiquing it? Yes, I will say that for sure. If you can look past all the flaws and the problems and the annoying soundtrack for Wonder Woman, then I would probably end up giving it an 8. But there are just scenes in the movie that I'm just like, okay, this is slow, this is boring, this is dragging on forever and ever. It would be hard for me to have to watch this movie and say, oh, this is a masterpiece. You're never going to get me to say Zack Snyder's Justice League deserves a 9 or a 10. Never in your wildest dreams. The highest I'll ever give this movie is an 8. So, but because of me having to be a critic, I'm giving it a 7.5. If I wasn't being a critic, I would give it an 8. So that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video and the review. I apologize that it's been a very long one, but I mean, this movie was 4 hours, so I had a lot to cover and talk about. And I appreciate you guys watching. Please let me know if you guys enjoyed the video in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree or disagree with me on anything in this video? Let me know in the comments. And did you guys have a chance to see it yet? And if so, what were your thoughts on the movie? You guys have a great one, and I'll see you guys next video or stream. Bye, guys!